So, guys, we got about, I think we hit 20. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but we have about 20 episodes out now. I think it's finally time we address a big issue.
Big issue.
What do we call our listeners?
You can't just pop this on me. You have to give me time to prepare. You know I'm not good at improv.
Oh, no. The spur of the moment
I'm
is...
trying to think of the most
the
inappropriate... The stickers?
Whoa, no.
That's...
No.
That sounds awful.
Joy Boys?
That sounds worse. Stick people.
The stick people. The freaks.
The freak cunts. Like frequency, but with a swear word.
Yeah, that'll go down very
That'll go
well.
down great.
It's already going down great.
Frequency.
Looks like stocks just doubled in New Zealand.
No way. Yo, we might be on something with this
What?
thing. Are we allowed to say that? Or does she have to blurt that out every time we say it?
I would be happy if she blurted it out.
Yeah,
Not that
we'll table this conversation for another day then, I guess.
I gotta come up with something funny and inappropriate, not just blatantly vulgar.
That's probably a good call when, this is what we're going to be referring to people from now on until the end of time, essentially.
Shouldn't they claim that name themselves?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a lot of pressure to put on our listener, though. That means it's your job, Casa. You've got to decide it right now.
Oh, no.
I need you to message this to me. Like, message your name for us in the channel as soon as you start recording this. And whatever it is, we'll record what you say, and we'll have you just crop it right in, right here.
Yeah, Cass is
What's
famous
great-
at loving coming up with names, so this will be good.
She's also very decisive and always is able to pick right on the fly on
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
The best part is around next week or something, around Wednesday-ish or something, we're just going to get a random message of a single word in the drop in the group chat, and it's going to be something like, I don't know, the Quincy's or something. We're going to be like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Oh, man.
Hello, welcome to the Joystick Frequency. It's a podcast that doubles as... Yeah.
Yo,
God damn it, I
great
thought I could
start,
go right
man.
into it.
Cass, keep
One
it in.
summer break, and it's already falling apart, huh? Hey, welcome back. It's a podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Joystick Frequency. It's a video game podcast that doubles as a video game book club where you remember just by listening in. I'm your host, Trent. Joining me are my two co-hosts, Walker
Yellow. I'm two.
and Brady.
Hi.
That's it? That's all you get?
That's it.
That's it.
They know me. I'm the star of the show.
I thought I was
I
bringing
guess so.
more
I thought
energy.
he was going to fight you for contention for number 2 or something, Walker, but I guess
I
not.
thought so.
Number one doesn't fight number 2.
It's fair.
Well,
it's fair. You
but
don't
then why
punch
am I doing the intro?
Because you're a bitch.
That's intern stuff. Intern
Yeah.
behavior.
Ah, okay.
All right, intern, what's our topic?
Oh, okay, I continue going? Okay, sorry, I had to get permission from the two head honchos.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
good. You're good.
Yeah, you're
Got
good.
that.
Alright, so last time we talked about some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I believe. We actually had a guest on the show, and Smurf did a wonderful job talking about the in and outs of what's been new and different in that game. Since its release over, I know it's over 25 years ago, I think, at this point.
Don't.
Definitely over 20. And so, yeah, we had a good discussion about that. And you might realize that podcast was back in May, which at the time of our recording right now is about over 2 months ago. Well, we kind of, without meaning to, took a small summer break. So we are officially dubbing this session of the podcast the Summer Break Podcast, where we're just going to go back and forth talking about all the things we've been doing and playing since then. I guess instead of starting with the games we've been playing this month, I guess any big outlying events or anything you want to talk about, things you've done over this small break. We'll start with you, Brady.
Are we talking non-video game things?
Yeah.
Let's see. I actually recently went to California to visit our video editor, and that's all she is to me, is our video editor. We went wine tasting with her family out in Temecula. It was really fun.
a moment of silence for Brady, who will rest here after this podcast is over.
Never mind.
I
was going to say something unrelated, but I think we want to keep this apolitical. So
fair point.
Because I feel like there's a lot that's happened in the last several months, but none of it is relevant for a video game podcast.
Speaking of which, for no particular reason, I fled the country for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, tell us about that, Walker.
I went to Scotland, just visiting some family, hanging out, having a good time. Taylor Swift concert, you know how it is.
Anything else?
I blitzed the entirety of Animal over that trip, but other than that, not really.
Well, damn. Well, it sounds like our summer break was a lot more boring than what you might imagine it is, but we're keeping a couple things like about our private lives to ourselves. We did definitely much more than this, except for me. I mostly did work and just overall got invested way too much into video games in general. I helped a friend move here to Austin. Other than that, yeah, I paid rent.
Hey, good for you.
I got a car. I got a new car. That's
that's right.
I had a birthday. My friends were there.
That's true. I want to say thank you to all our Patreon fans for helping me afford this new car. Really wouldn't be able to do it.
I don't get a mic. What is happening?
Hey man, y'all are the head honchos. I'm the intern now. So
wait,
I mean,
did I not tell you all about the Patreon I set up?
No,
Shit.
what?
It's like $100K a month. I don't know.
Holy
hot damn! What's the Patreon called? Plug it right now.
No, I have my subscribers.
And what do you call those subscribers? Just for no reason in particular.
His only friends.
Visit me at fatrolls.onlyfans.com and I'll tell you.
Sorry, let me I'm just gonna don't mind me.
Anyway, now that we're done with that bit of craziness, I guess we got a lot of things to talk about game-wise that we played. Only a couple are like relatively new, honestly. There are a few things that here are just we felt like playing them, and so that's what we did. So I guess who would like to start? I can, or if either of you specifically has one y'all want to talk about immediately.
I can go first. I want to talk about. Well, first I want to talk about a couple of the games that I played a little bit of, but not a lot of over the break. One of those is Warhammer 40k Space Marine. It's an older game, like I want to say mid to late 2000s game. It's Warhammer 40k. You play as a Space Marine, going through missions, fighting on a orc-infested world. The reason I've been slowly working my way through it, and it has been kind of slow, it is very much a mid-2000s game, so that I can't just do it all in one sitting.
I was about to ask how it holds up.
It holds up. It's a super fun game.
I feel like there's a butt coming. The way you said
I can
that.
only kill so many orcs. You run around and you shoot things and you kill things.
Well, orcs must die.
All orcs must die. And apparently, spoilers, there's also some chaos stuff involved at the end. Which sets up why I'm playing it, which is there's a new one coming out, Space Marine 2. Same main character, but due to the events in the first game, he gets demoted and goes back from being like a captain ordering people around back to a foot soldier. And you go fight the Tyranids, apparently. And I'm really hyped for it. Because giant swarms of bug monsters that want to eat my brains. And shooting them with a big gun that fires missiles is my happy place.
This sounds a lot like Helldivers.
Warhammer did it first.
Helldivers did it first this year.
Warhammer's been doing it since the 80s.
Yeah.
The sequel
or
announcement.
90s.
Was that the sequel announcement? Was that during the big influx of like game announcements that came out recently?
Yeah, the announcement came back a while ago. I want to say it's coming out this year,
Oh,
this
damn.
fall.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm looking up the... Cassie, you can cut out all this him and haw until I find the...
No, you better
date.
not. You better leave this in.
Space... If I just type release date into Google, will it give me an answer?
Probably an AI-generated one.
September 9th. Great.
9/9.
Yeah, 9/9. In a month. It comes out in a month.
That's very cool. Have fun.
I'm going to make such a cool space fascist. It's going to be
So,
great.
I mean, what you said the gameplay is just like running around and shooting shit. Like, is there a story to it? Like,
There is a story to it. Like, you get small breaks from shooting shit to talk to side characters that tell you, go here to X and do Y. And then you go and shoot things till you get to X and then you do the thing. And then there's another side character that says, oh no, the orcs have advanced past the northern flank. Go this way and reinforce. And then you do that. Again, I have not completed the game. I'm still probably in the first act of it. So not a lot of plot stuff. It's really more of a, like, you upgrade your weapons and you swap between your weapons. And as you... It seems a little doomy to me.
okay.
Like the gameplay loop of just like killing and killing.
Oh, is it a first-person shooter?
Third-person shooter. Yeah, you're
Third
like
person,
over-the-shoulder type of situation. You also get a chainsaw sword, which I feel like I should mention.
So it's Gears of War.
Well, Gears of War, isn't their chainsaw stuff like on their guns?
Yes.
Yes.
This is just a sword that's a chainsaw.
Oh,
It's separate from
rad.
your gun. Whose bullets explode, by the way. They're not just bullets, they explode when they hit things.
Legally distinct.
Legally
No,
distinct. They're called bolters. 40K
fucking
is
rad,
so
though.
over the top. It's my favorite.
I know you're a big fan of the franchise.
I am. I'm a fan of anything that is just ridiculous and very metal 80s action stuff. The same reason I'm a big fan of Never Stop Blowing Up. The New
Oh.
Dimension 20 season. Friends of the pod.
Yeah, absolutely, friends of the pod.
Absolutely friends of the pod.
We know them.
Good pal of mine, Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Person I have absolutely spoken to. Iffy Wadiway.
In my dreams. Wait, have you spoken to Iffy Waterway?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
He has no idea who I am.
Okay.
They in no way endorse us.
Iffy was in the same city that I was at one point, at least. That's
Yeah.
as close as I've been.
Iffy Wadiway has been to the city that you live in. I almost said the name, but people don't need to know.
I mean, I've already said Austin.
Okay.
What are they gonna do? Find me out of what? 4 million people? Something like that.
It's
Probably
a lot
more
of
than
people.
that. Before we move off of Space Marine or just 40K Warhammer 40K in general, do you have like any interest in the tabletop version of the game?
Here is my dilemma. On the one hand, absolutely. It looks super fun. I love tabletop games. On the other hand, do I really need another tabletop game to get myself into on top of everything else I'm already into? I've heard it's a very expensive hobby to be a part of. Like, you have to buy each miniature that you play with in your army. And apparently it gets expensive. And also, you have to, like, paint your models yourself. Like, they just come gray and you decorate them yourselves with, like, paint and stuff. And that does not appeal to me at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. The model creation stuff that I've seen online, it looks genuinely insane. People go
It's
so hard on
incredible
it.
and it's amazing, and I have so much respect for people that do it. I have shaky hands and am bad at painting. So I know it would look way worse than I want it to look, and that I can't live with.
Oh no.
Well, that's cool. I figured I'd at least ask that question because I know we've been doing a little bit of in-person D&D occasionally here and there
Yeah.
lately. So,
I mean, for sure, if they had like a Baldur's Gate 3 situation, like where I could virtually play
the tabletop
40K, the tabletop, without having to like buy the pieces and paint the pieces, I would get into it. But I don't know if I could financially afford to get into it now.
It's like Magic the Gathering for me. I can't do it.
Yeah. Not because I don't want to, because I know I'll love it, and I can't.
It'll become your entire life for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And the rest of your bank account. No, I feel that. One last thing, I mean, with your playthrough of Warhammer, like, if you had to name one thing that you absolutely adored about it, what would it be?
So, there's a lot I like about it. I'm trying to decide between two things. One is just that it makes you feel like a powerful super soldier without making the game easy. Like the idea of a space marine is a genetically enhanced superhuman soldier with incredibly advanced technology, armor. It's basically like a walking tank. And a lot of the other 40k games I play, they don't really get that vibe to it because of game mechanics. You just can't balance a game around that type of character. This being more of like a Doom situation where it's like you versus hordes of enemies really captures the feel of what I've always imagined Space Marines to be, and I really like that about the game. The other thing I like about the game is there's some sick murder animations with melee weapons. I love shoving my chainsaw sword into the chest of a little goblin dude and impaling him and lifting him into the air on it. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal.
You kind of set me up. I have two different options of transition for you. I have the power fantasy, or I have the melee murder. Which would you like to go
Power
with?
fantasy.
Power fantasy. All right. So I'm going to start with. I'm sure if you play any PC games, even if you don't, you know anything about esports, you probably have heard of League of Legends. League of Legends is a very popular MOBA made by Riot Games, and it's honestly, I think it's known the most for being toxic. However, and having a janky client and stuff like that. However, there's every once in a while, Riot finally does something we all agree on and think is a really good idea, and that's where League's Swarm mode comes in. It's unfortunately only here during an event that they got going on, so it'll be here for another couple weeks. But it's basically they put a Vampire Survivors mode into League temporarily, and I've been playing the shit out of it. It is so much fun to take these. They only have 9 of the characters from their roster of 163 characters, I think, that they have. They only took 9 of them, and they made it. They put them into this version of the game, and it's a lot of fun. You start off pretty easy with just your regular damage and DPS, but as you go around completing certain missions and surviving for 15 minutes until you fight a boss, kill the boss, and then go on to the next level. You keep unlocking all your passives and your weapons. Weapons evolve after you get the correct passive that is tied to it, and you go around just getting swarmed by enemies over and over again. But the way that your power increased by collecting the little XP orbs, and you level up, and you're leveling up your passives, you're leveling up your weapons, and it's just makes it to where it's a visual bullet hell, and you don't know whether or not you're dodging enemy stuff or if you accidentally just tried to dodge your own attack at some points, just because there's just so much going on the screen. I've been having a ton of fun with it. I played it with a friend of the podcast, Nathan Zelker, Smurf himself, from the last one, and I've been kind of talking with Walker, trying to see if I could get him to come and play it. Unfortunately, I'd have to settle for another one that I have on my list that I just started, and this one I blame Walker for, Vampire Survivors, the original. I completely dodged this game whenever it came out, I believe last year, because it looked like an old arcade game, and I was unsure of how good the gameplay would be. Anytime I see something that looks like an old arcade game, I'm automatically like hesitant, and it's just because like I don't find a lot of the old arcade games like very fun. Like don't get me wrong, Pac-Man, Galaga, and like classics, like Tapper, and what else? Dig Dug. They're like those I love, but like just any other one that like doesn't have like some sort of basis similar to those, like I normally can't get behind. So I completely dodged it, thinking, oh, it's nothing I would actually enjoy. Man, was I wrong, because we played maybe 3 games, I think, Walker.
Yeah, we didn't play all that much, but I could see the itch in your eyes. Like as soon as we had gotten through a couple, I was like, ooh, okay.
And for the last one, this is why it's 100% Walker's fault that I'm into this game now. For the last one, he had it swapped to my profile, so I instantly earned 16 of the 200-something achievements.
Yup.
Which means on Xbox, for me, there is no going back on that. And so now I have installed it on my console and have already put 4 hours into it.
It's great. I mean, speaking from like playing a little bit, I haven't played all that much myself, but it's kind of the perfect game to put on the background when you're, wanting to just listen to music or do something else. You don't have to focus too crazy much on it. Obviously, you need to not get overwhelmed by the insane amount of creatures on the screen. But, I mean, overall, like, you just kind of focus on creating a build, but you can listen to, like, a podcast or music in the background. It's kind of no stress, pick up and play. I mean, each round goes for maybe 30 minutes if you're, like, playing it all the way through to the end. Yeah.
And I thought, like, me and Walker, we were having like a full-on conversation while we were playing this as well, and like there'd be those couple of moments where the screen gets real big and we both like lock in and just like lean forward and stop talking for a second, except for like call-outs and stuff like that. But the only thing I'm upset about the game is the fact that it doesn't have online multiplayer, or else I'd be playing this with my friends. Unfortunately, I have to go to their house if I want to do that, which it will work really well whenever the D&D group gets together to visit. I think, especially because Nathan really loved the League Swarm mode, I think we get me, Walker, you, Brady, and Nathan on this. It's 4-player local co-op, and like we can get on this and we'll have a fucking blast. I can guarantee it.
Have you played any of it before, Brady?
I can't say that I have.
It's nice. I mean, it's very, very simple. It's like 2D top-down. You're walking around a big plane while enemies just kind of swim around you. Yeah, it's super simple, super great. Like Trent was saying, it's a good way to just hang out and have a conversation and
I would
chill with other people.
for sure think we should play it next time I'm in Austin.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Like literally, and it's so simplistic in its controls, and I really thought there was much more to the game than that as well. You can literally use either stick to move around, and then the only other buttons you have to press is the A button to select what upgrade you're getting whenever you level up. That's it. And it does everything else for you. And just some of the weapons that you can get in the League one, like just I'm just sitting there standing still, just looking at the chaos. Once I've hit max build, I'm like, pretty colors.
When it comes to the League mode, like, what kind of visual aesthetic did they go with? It plays pretty similarly to Vampire Survivors, you were saying, right?
Yeah, so the visual aesthetic, they have this skin line known as the Anima Squad, and they're a bunch of, like, they're basically Power Rangers, except that they, each of them represents an animal. Instead of like having their robot represent a dinosaur or something like that, and so it's got this really like bright colors and just a bright colors aesthetic that's you can tell when your stuff's going off because it always adds like a unique different color to it, and it's literally just look at the pretty colors, the fucking game. I might run one after this and stream it to you guys just so that you can see.
It sounds good. Yeah, I mean, again, highly recommend it. It's free on Game Pass. I know it's pretty cheap everywhere else. I think it's even on, like, it has mobile support, which makes sense considering all you have to do is kind of control the direction of your character. But yeah, I enjoyed Vampire Survivors. I thought it was really, really great. Sorry to lock you into a game with 275 achievements.
I think it's 211.
Yeah.
That's okay. I've already gotten 57.
Yeah, so you're doing fine.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm only at 22. And I got 16 of them at your place.
Hell yeah. That's how it goes.
I still haven't gotten off the first character. I haven't been able to survive an entire rotation since I played with you.
I guess that's me up next. Let's see how I can transition off of this. Retro style. I'll stick with retro style. I played through, I mentioned it earlier, when I was out of country, I went through and played Animal Well, which is a kick-ass little indie game, which just consumed my life when I was away from the country. You start out, you play like a little tiny 16-bit character that kind of looks like Jake the dog from Adventure Time, and you are exploring the titular Animal Well. And it's just this huge winding labyrinth that you can run through and explore. Some of the first items you pick up are little like firecrackers that you could just use to like light your path in front of you when you're in a dark room, or you can like scare away little like spritey ghost things. And the entire like point of this game is built around two of my favorite things, which are explorations and puzzles. So you are highly encouraged to explore this massive, sprawling Metroidvania-style map where, you know, each screen kind of connects to each other. And as you go through, you've got this initial basic task of lighting 4 different lanterns to open something. I don't know. You don't get much like text direction in the game, aside from your like descriptors in the menus of like what you actually have like selected. But it's just an absolute blast. 4 major sections of the game that you can go through and explore. Each one has its own dedicated items, very Zelda-like in that regard, where you pick them up and then you can use those to help you progress even further. The items that you get, very, very silly and fun, all kind of have this kind of kid-focused theme. So you get stuff like a bubble wand, which lets you produce a little bubble, which you can use as an extra platform to get higher. You have a slinky, which you can like put down slope surfaces, it'll fall down, and you can use it to weigh down buttons to let you through or solve like specific puzzles designed around it. You got a frisbee, where if you throw it, you can either use it to distract hostile animals that are inside this well with you, or if you're pretty clever with it, you can actually jump on top of the frisbee, and it will like act as a floating platform moving left and right, and it'll take you across the entire map. And it really feels like all these items that you find have their own, while having their specific niche purposes, have additional purposes that you can find just by exploring. And that's something that the game really does an incredible job of leading you into. As you go through, you find literal Easter eggs hidden throughout the game. And as you collect them, you pick them up, you eventually stumble across a room which allows you to turn them in for extra rewards. It's so fun. It kind of plays to every single one of the aspects of gaming that I love. It's all the stuff that I went feral over Tunic and Outer Wilds for. You know, you run around in a map, you explore the place, you figure out the intricacies. It's also got just great 2D platformer style platforming. Great movement system. It's an absolute blast, and it feels like you keep uncovering stuff throughout the game as you're going through. Even when you roll credits for the first time, it immediately lends into the fact that, hey, you're not done yet, there's more to find. You kind of lean into that, you explore more, you find more, you're like, hey, there's even more for you to do. And it just kind of balloons and balloons and balloons. And there's a whole, when the game first dropped, like ARG aspect about it as well, where people were coming together trying to piece together some external puzzles and stuff. And it balloons and balloons and balloons, and I had a genuine blast running through it. I don't want to say too much else because I don't want to give away any spoiler things. It's very similar, like I said, to Outer Wilds, where you go play through it, and the joys and the discovery and the application of those discoveries.
Yeah, I'm excited to play this one. This one's been on my list for a while, as I've heard from the other podcasts I listen to, as well as you playing it. This one is going to be a contender at the end of the year, so I will be playing it before the end of the year.
Yeah, this was not on my radar at all, but it is now.
Would highly recommend it. The art style is super cute. It's kind of got that arcadey 16-bit classic style, but it plays like so modern. And yeah, it's great. I mean, the initial playthrough, if you're not trying, according to Time to Beat, is only 6.5 hours, so it doesn't overstay its welcome, but you can delve so much deeper than that. If y'all play it, let me know. I would love to talk in a more spoilerly way about it. But yeah,
I've definitely heard this is an iceberg game.
Yes. Oh my god, that's the most apt description. It just keeps going deeper, man.
All right. Would you like to go, Brady, or would you like me to continue? Because I can kind of go off of something Walker already said.
Yeah. Why don't you go? I only really have 2 more games to talk about before I get to my big game.
Okay, I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about much about it, because I did most of that last time, with whenever I beat, the base game of Outer Wilds, but I've brought it here this time, because there's something, like, insanely special about this game. Now that all 3 of us have played it, all 3 of us have gone through, this game is so unique and so special that I think we, need some form of honorific for, a game that just resonates with all 3 of us like this. Kind of.
This and Tunic, I think, are the only 2 that have been this...
Yeah, have, hit this upper echelon. And we don't have to necessarily come up with it today. I just wanted to bring up a bit about it just to say that maybe we need some sort of named honor for not only Outer Wilds but also Tunic for this podcast, and the more games we find like that, the more we put them on this pedestal, and it not necessarily it'd be the guided gaming that we do at the beginning of the year, but this is the gold star, the top of the radio tower or something like that. Just if you're going to listen to this podcast, you're going to hear us talk about these games several times. Go play these games. And Outer Wilds has hit that mark for me, especially with the DLC, improving on it, improving on the base game so much, and the fact that it's just the way that you access it blew my mind, as it's just you just move at a certain point and it just covers the sun. You're like, that thing's been there the entire time, and you finally go and access it. It's crazy.
Man,
and,
do you understand why I was nearly crying and going feral when I first was talking about this game? It's so good, dude.
It's so good, and it's so unique how you solve the puzzles in this game, and I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, if we don't say it every podcast, just know subliminally somewhere in the podcast we're saying go play Outer Wilds and go play Tunic.
The reveal of how you get to the DLC is an incredible moment, and the actual dropping down into it for the first time is such a cool reveal. I want to let you know, Trent, that when you were first running through it, when you were hanging out at our house for just a little bit, you almost unintentionally discovered the DLC.
Yeah, I went to that satellite.
Yeah, not even that. You had opened the map, and the map had kind of covered up the sun, and you were confused by it. The sun went dark on your map, and you were very, very baffled. And for all of 30 seconds, then you closed the map and kind of continued with your day. And I was my heart was pounding. I was shitting myself. I was oh, is he just gonna stumble into it? That'd be rad.
I feel like this is a game that, like, maybe if we ever have the time, we're just hanging out. Like, maybe we get Nathan on this game and watch all three of us just watch him and
play.
see what he does.
I will spread this game like a fucking virus, dude. I will happily subject anyone to it.
Yeah, this is the joystick frequencies malware. Outer Wilds.
Yes, absolutely.
Except
it makes you happy and like.
If only we didn't have the radio theme, then we could actually call it. This is the joystick frequencies malware. But yeah, we will think of something to call these games, and hopefully we'll add more than just those two to the list.
I can chat really briefly again if you want to save some games, Brady. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 7 written down here.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about most of the games except Total War. So.
Well, I can chatter real briefly here about 2 of them that I've got on my list because I haven't played too much of them. After beating another game that we'll talk about here in a little bit, I was kind of in that weird post really good game state where you don't really want to pick anything up quite yet because you're still kind of riding that high. So I was just looking for a little something to occupy my time, and I tried booting up Vampire Survivors, but it had an update. I tried booting up something else, and it had an update. I tried booting up Fall Guys, and it had an update. And I was like, okay, well, let's try. I've had this downloaded on my computer or on my Xbox for a little bit now. Let's give Slay the Spire a go. And Slay the Spire has really been a blast. It's another one of those games where you can put on and play for a while without really needing to commit too much to it. Although the runs get very long very quickly, to my surprise. It is, most people probably know Slay the Spire at this point. It is the roguelike deck builder to where you have a character who has a base ability and you proceed through the map. The maps look very, very similar to the Dynamax crawls in the Crown Tundra DLC. You know, that kind of branching path that you would go through picking the Pokemon or upgrades that you get? Mm-hmm. It looks very similar to that. You pick, like, if you want to go into a battle or if you want to stop by a shop, and you kind of, like, pick your path as you go through. Very, very good. You just kind of build up cards into your deck. You rely on random draws to kind of allow you to defend or attack. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I've only done, like, 3 or 4 runs, but I've had a good time with it. If you enjoy roguelike games, or just want something to kind of pick up and play in the background, I would highly recommend it. And then... Oh, sorry, go ahead, please.
Just in general, I feel like the more and more we do this podcast, the more and more we keep bringing these roguelike games to it. Because, the genre, wasn't really a thing, 10 years ago, and it's, I don't know what the first game was off the top of my head or anything, but, this genre
first
just
one was
keeps
Rogue.
growing.
You son of a bitch. Leave. Get out of here. Go.
That's a joke, but that is true.
The genre slowly began, just grown, and, every single one of them has this unique spin on it that just makes them so interesting. I've been really enjoying the roguelike genre lately.
Have y'all heard about that Pokemon roguelike?
It's
Pokerogue? It's like a browser game.
Yeah.
I've heard pretty good things about it. I've seen a lot of people making content on it, so...
I haven't really dived in, but just seems...
Keep in mind.
It's on the list, Brady, don't worry.
Okay.
we have to get through our Nuzlocke, unfortunately, first.
Alright, so we'll start playing Pokerogue in 2-3 years?
Yep.
Cool.
That or we'll end up quitting the Nuzlocke here in a couple months whenever we fail for the 19th time. Jeez, it's been rough.
It's been rough, guys. It's tough on these streets.
Owen's a rough place.
I got 2 gangs. It's a gang war.
Another really quick game that I have not finished or gotten anywhere, or at least I don't think I've gotten close to finishing, is Case of the Golden Idol. Hey, guys, look, another puzzle game. I like puzzle games. This one's very fun. It's a point-and-click style detective-ish game. Haven't gotten too deep into the story, but it seems to be following one specific family as people in the family and near and around them die off, and you are investigating the murders from a kind of omniscient point of view. You get like a specific scene you get to really delve into. You have to connect the dots of, oh, well, this character was wearing this specific outfit, which means it was roughly this time of day according to his diary. And you kind of have to put the pieces together and just solve the murders. I've gotten through, I think, 5 or 6 of the puzzles so far. It's been really good. I've been enjoying it. Would recommend. I'll get back to y'all with more information as I finish it.
Cool. This is one that's that I've like had on my radar for a bit as well. So I'm excited to hear about it next podcast to see what you have to say about it, and hopefully good things, and then I can pick it up.
Let's see. I have also been playing a game called Capes. It's a new game that came out this year. It's an indie superhero turn-based game. You are a group of young superheroes coming together under the regime. The evil villains took over the city, and now you're this group of young new heroes that are coming in to free the city from these evil villains with the help of your gruff older mentor. They have different characters with different abilities and different powers. You get to choose between generally 3 to 4 of them for each mission. So, like, there's a character who is like very defensively focused. He grows crystals on his body and can protect himself and your allies with his crystal abilities. You have a speedster. You have a psychic telekinesis guy. You have someone with storm powers who can blow people away and shock them with lightning. Very fun stuff. I will say this game is not afraid to toss you in the shit. I'm not unexperienced with turn-based strategy games. I've played a decent amount of those. This was a challenge, and I played on easy mode. This is a very challenging game, but it's one that I do enjoy a lot and absolutely plan to go back and get into again.
So what happened that made you fall off there? Was it just the difficulty level, or what?
Here's what happened. There was a mission.
Okay.
Had to go. What was I doing? One of the characters went to go talk to his dad, and you get ambushed by the villains and a bunch of people in black suits and armor and guns and stuff. And there's a first wave of them that come in, and you beat them, and I beat him the first time. I was like, man, that was a rough fight. And then phase 2 kicked in.
Oh no.
And I got wiped it's like 10:30, so I'm going to bed after I finish this battle. 3 or 4 tries later, I still haven't beat it. Getting real frustrated with the whole situation and exhausted because it's midnight and I want to go to bed. I just was like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm turning it off. And then went to bed. The next day, I wasn't into it. Didn't want to touch it. And that happened for the next couple of days. And then by the time I felt good enough to get back into it, I kept dying because I had forgotten the game mechanics because I had taken so big of a break. And then I just put it down, planning to get back into it. And then it had been a couple months. I still have it downloaded and still plan to go back and beat it. I just
Well, I got bad news for you. As someone who's been freshly indoctrinated into the Soulsborne genre, speaking from experience, when you get your ass kicked right before bed like that, if you go to bed and you wake up and you try it, you 90% of the time will first try it. So I am so sorry to hear that you lost your opportunity on that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that
it's also though. It's one of those where like the hard part comes like an hour into the fight,
right?
And when you start over from the beginning.
Jeez,
so
that's a trudge.
Like each try is a significant time investment,
and it just builds up and builds up, and yeah,
like,
I get you.
if you go to bed angry at the game has scored 2 points on you that night. That's how I feel.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Yes, it did.
Oh, no.
But yeah, fun game. I recommend it if you like turn-based games.
Well, Brady, I kind of like hearing your voice. Walker, I like hearing your voice as well. So how about we talk about a game that all three of us have played together a bit?
Yeah.
It's almost like we were chained together. Who would like to start?
Sure, I'll start. Brady, get a fucking better computer.
So good news. Good news. I got my desktop working again. So when we play this again, I won't be on my 2014
So you won't have an excuse this time,
laptop.
is what you're saying.
Correct. I'll just be bad because I'm bad, not bad because of lag.
Good. As it should be, honestly. Man, this game was very fun. I'm a sucker for just, like, chaotic bullshit. So I ate this up. And it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of notes from games like Only Up and Getting Over It to where as you climb this massive structure out of hell, if you slip and fall, that fucks you. It's not good. You won't keep falling.
I can't tell you how many times we were fine, and then one of us slipped. By one of us, I mean me.
Yep, there we go.
And my weight just dragged us all down, and we all died.
I think that's just specifically like on the logs.
Okay, to be fair, the logs are the thing that are looming largest in my mind when I think of this game.
That's fair. A lot of the game, like as long as one person falls off, you're most likely going to recover. If two people fall off, you're probably going to recover. 3 is where it gets really hard, and you can pull off the recovery, but it's a lot harder, especially whenever you're one of the middle people and the other 3 fall off. Then you're getting dragged from 2 different sides on which way to fall down. So, like, it's all about orientation and being as perfect as you can and being ready to pick up the slack for your allies if you can. And I mean, like Walker said, it's a lot like Only Up. It looks like asset throw up on a map in a elevating puzzle platformer, and you just go through. You start in hell, and I've watched a couple of playthroughs after our attempt. I watched a couple of playthroughs, and you start at hell, and you slowly ascend to heaven. It's funny how close to hell New York is, by the way.
Jeez, okay. Haven't gotten that lore yet. If you watch some playthroughs now, how far did we get? Do I want to know?
I think, because we got like 700 feet, right?
Sure, that sounds good. There were chandeliers.
We got like 700. Victory's at 3,600.
Okay, so we
got about a quarter of the way.
That's not bad. I'll take that. For one night's worth of progress when half of us, I think, were inebriated. Yeah.
More than half.
Let's go.
Sorry. Half of us were inebriated and Brady wasn't even there.
Yeah, Brady had a bad computer.
My computer was drunk. Does that count?
There you go.
No, we did good. That was a fun game, and I'm excited to go and play some more at some point.
Yeah, we got to set aside a night to play through until we beat that game.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Would recommend. I think it's fairly cheap. It was like $5-10.
Yeah, it was like $5. It was very, very inexpensive.
So if you want a good time with some friends online, it's a good way to spend it. If you like a little bit of chaos, and you hate logs.
All right. So we're gonna insert a little bit of a jingle here.
Jingle.
Not really gonna insert a jingle, but we're about at the halfway mark, and hello, welcome to I think it's called Tuned Into Trivia, but unfortunately, it's not really tuned into trivia this time. It's instead going to be a little bit of something else. It's still a game show within a podcast, but It's not quite tuned into trivia. Instead, it's going to be something I like to call bad signal.
How do I forget that this shit happens every time?
Not every signal? Time. It's been a while.
Please enlighten us. Clarify our signal.
I call this one bad signal because if you've ever seen a post or about those like movie film plots that are explained badly, that's kind of what I've done here for video games.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have 5 video games here, and the theme of the day is going to be this. Due to the fact that the Xbox 360 marketplace has shut down.
Tragic, honestly.
The end of an era, honestly. Since that has shut down since our last recording, I have brought you 5 games that came out on the Xbox 360. Or at least whenever they were released, they debuted on the 360. And so they're going to be in the format of, like I said, the game's plot explained badly. And I have 5 of them here, and we'll see if either of you can get the point on them. And whoever has the most points at the end wins.
Okay. How do you want us to like chime in? Do we just call it out when we know it, or what? Do you want us to message you?
Just the first person to say it gets it?
I think the way we'll do it is I'll finish the question, and then I'll ask if either of you have an answer. If one of you has an answer and the other doesn't, then we'll go to that one person and see what they have. If both of you say an answer and it's wrong, I will give a slight hint and give you all a chance to re-guess it. But after that re-guess, there will be no points if no one gets it then.
Okay.
All right, my first guess is Aragon.
Wow.
The game.
Interesting. No.
No!
Okay, so...
Are we supposed to guess now?
Yeah, no. Go for it. Your guess.
No. All right, so the first
Super Mario Brothers.
For the 360.
For the 360.
All right, so... you see the story of how a mega millionaire office worker slowly transitions into a lunatic face wearer.
Face wearer. I think I've got one.
Okay, Walker has an answer. Brady, do you have an answer?
Yes.
Okay. If that's the case,
DM you?
I guess, but yeah, DM me.
I can DM you. Okay. Mine, I'm pretty sure, I am going to message you, I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm pretty sure it's from a series. Let's hope I get the right one.
Face wearer is really the only thing that I'm guessing based on. Because the one I just sent you, I did not play. So I don't know if
so that first point is going to go to Walker for Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Oh my god.
What did you say?
Payday.
Oh,
interesting. The masks.
So I was going back and forth between the pre-sequel and Tales from the Borderlands. I wasn't quite sure if the main character in that... I know he gets possessed by Handsome Jack, but not like... Yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah.
All right. Number two. Anime pro tag avoids therapy bill by taking out his anger on the gods.
Say it one more time.
Anime pro tag avoids therapy bill by taking out his anger on the gods.
I know what this is. I don't know which one it is, but I know what the series is.
Oh no.
Do you have an answer, Walker?
No. I'm going to be honest, I thought it was God of War, but that's PlayStation.
Oh shit, well, maybe I need to rethink my answer.
Oh shit,
damn,
I shouldn't have said that loud.
You shouldn't have said anything because I literally had God of War bait answer written here, and if anyone were to say it, they were going to lose their chance at the question at the follow-up.
Anime pro tag tries to take it out on the gods? Is this a well-known series game?
I'd say like it's niche, but also like I'm sure you've heard of it.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. I think I have an actual answer then.
Okay, Walker, do you have an actual answer?
No, go for it.
All right, Brady.
I think it's Is it Final Fantasy 9?
Also not on Xbox.
Is it not? God damn
I
it.
believe so, at least.
I
I'm
thought
pretty sure
some of the
15,
new...
I think 15 was the
only
first
15
one.
was on Xbox.
Oh, okay. Fun fact, 15 was my first Final Fantasy game, and I played it on
might as
Xbox,
well.
so that's why
All right.
I have that association.
All right, so, Walker, any guess after that?
Anime boy takes out his anger on the gods. Is that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Not a clue. Okami.
Okay. So the hint I will give to this will help if you played the game. I'm sure. I know for a fact y'all both played the last two and maybe even the third one. The first two questions I was not sure if y'all had played yet. If you there's a big fat guy in the game that tries to completely squash the planet with his index finger.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Squash the planet with...
You know I've played games in this series?
No.
Oh, no, he was saying for the next couple of questions.
Oh, for the next ones. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one he wasn't so sure on.
Oh, okay. I am more confused now than I was earlier.
Okay.
Is it... Okay, I'm gonna... no more heroes.
No.
Okay.
All right. So the answer is Asura's Wrath.
Oh, I had no fucking clue.
What?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is that the shirt that you've got?
The shirt that I have?
Never
I
mind.
thought Asura was like a god of D&D.
He might be. So basically, yeah, this guy, he's literally fucking Kratos from God of War in the fact that he's just angry and all he does is punches things, and he goes against the gods and slowly fights and takes out the 5 gods of the world just because he's angry.
Hell yeah, more power to him.
All right, question number 3. Walker still leads 1-0. Question number 3. The tide of a planet-wide conflict somehow turns when a prison beefcake is given a modified lawn instrument.
I'm gonna buzz in. I don't think this is it, but it's the only thing that's coming to my brain. Can I...
Do you have a guess, Brady?
I don't have a guess right now. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Walker.
Is it Lollipop Chainsaw?
No.
Damn it!
Is it Gears of War?
Oh?
I'm going to need a specification.
Gears of War 3.
That is incorrect.
Gears of War 1.
Gears of War 2.
It is Gears of War 2.
Yes!
Yeah, 2, you start the game by, literally the tutorial level is breaking Marcus Phoenix out of prison. And you get the modified lawn instrument being the chainsaw gun that he gets.
Do you say you know we played that game?
I played that. That's fair. That's fair. I should know better.
It was also mentioned this podcast, so I felt really much better once Walker had already mentioned it this podcast.
And then it all fell apart.
Yeah. Well, honestly, you saying Lollipop Chainsaw, I wasn't even thinking of a chainsaw as anything other than a weapon. I didn't even consider that it was also a tool.
I think I should get the point for Lollipop Chainsaw. If
No, you
for
shouldn't.
no other reason.
I should get the point because I brought up Gears of War first.
Look. All right, fair, fine. I'll play by the rules.
It's 1-1.
All right. We're
tied.
1-1. Going into number 4. Number 4. Robots sabotage each other at terminal velocity before going through doors that get rid of their bullets, in quotes.
Hold on. Get rid of their... Can I buzz in?
Yeah, hit me with that one more time real fast.
Robots sabotage each other at terminal velocity before going through doors that get rid of their, in quotes, bullets.
I don't... Hold on. Can I... If I have a game, can I Google to see if it came out on Xbox 360? Because that...
I've got a guess.
Go for it.
Both of you have a guess. Both of you DM me.
Yeah.
It sounds like both of you have a guess, at least.
Let's see if this works. I don't know if the terminal velocity is what's getting me.
The description works for the game I sent you. I just don't know if that game came out on Xbox.
Oh, you know what? I sent that. I don't think those are robots. You know what?
Congratulations, Brady. It was indeed Portal 2.
Okay, there we go.
Oh,
I didn't know. I thought it might have been a Steam exclusive. But no, it did come out on Xbox 360.
Oh, you gotta at least mention potatoes.
Oh, well, no, potatoes would have given it away.
Fair.
Falling at terminal velocity.
All right, fair.
Come on.
All right, 2-1. Brady's favor going into the last one. All right, the last one. Man dreams of papal vengeance while on an avian-themed scavenger hunt from his late brother. Well, technically his great uncle.
Hit me with that one more time.
Yeah,
you can
let's run
subtract
that
the
back.
greats.
Man dreams of papal vengeance while on an avian-themed scavenger hunt from his late brother. Well, technically his great uncle.
I don't think this is a Xbox thing, because I would have played it otherwise.
I have a guess.
I also have a guess. It's not right, but I've got a guess.
Okay, and now that I'm reading it as well, I will accept two different guesses here. So, or two different answers. Both of y'all go ahead and send me what your answer is.
Real fast, can you can I Google what papal means?
No, because I know what it means and I want the advantage.
Okay. All right.
Having to do with the Pope.
Okay. Oh, what the what? What?
Yeah, papal is like a pope.
All right, I'm gonna. It's.
I'm guessing. I don't
make sense.
Do you want me to re-say it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Am I tripping? I'm pretty sure that.
That has nothing to do with birds, but sure.
A man dreams of papal vengeance while on an avian-themed scavenger hunt from his late brother.
Oh, motherfucker!
And with his first answer, Brady is correct.
Motherfucker!
It is not Walker's Dante's Inferno. It is, in fact, Brady's Assassin's Creed 2.
Okay.
The one I had here was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, but I realized my mistake and corrected it to be Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood.
Hell yeah!
God damn it! It was right there.
That brings it to Brady, you winning this 3-1. Congratulations!
All those hours collecting bird feathers wasted.
How did y'all like my video game plots explained badly?
Pretty good.
I wanted to choke you. It was great.
I was actually proud of those. I thought of like two of them like just at the same time. It felt like earlier today. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. Should come back for another episode.
Well, yeah, but you just got to make the clues next time.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's the
I can do
joy.
that. I can do that. I can do this.
That's the joy in losing, is I don't have to worry about it so much.
We can. Why don't we pick up with Destiny then?
Yeah.
Tell us about Destiny.
Oh shit, guys! What if I told you that I started playing this game 10 years ago? Over those 10 years, the latest expansion they dropped is the single best expansion they've brought to the game.
Damn, really?
Yeah. Not only do they finally reveal secrets they've been hiding since the very beginning, they also completely put an end to the first, I don't want to say, not even chapter. What would be a culmination to chapter, act, I guess. The first act of the entirety of Destiny, I would say. They cap it off with the fight with the Witness here, as well as they leave some sprinkles of what's to come afterwards. All of which might not even happen. And if you're wondering what that means, well, let's just start with a bit of the expansion as is. So I'm just gonna go straight into spoilers because it's been out probably the longest on this list that came out or at least it's probably the closest thing to our last podcast that came out on here. So if you were intending on playing it, I would say this is your spoiler warning for Destiny 2, the final shape. So it starts off with we've had this giant portal on the Traveler for an entire year of like just waiting to figure out a way to go inside. That's what the seasonal events of the past year before the final shape have been about. It's been trying to find a way to follow the Witness inside the Traveler itself. We're finally able to go through, and once we do, we quickly realize what the Traveler is. It's the inside of it is a makeup of all the memories of any person that's inside of it. Most of it being us, the Guardian, and then after we make landfall and set up a base, we're able to pull in Crow, Zavala, Ikora, and not only we are not the first people here. Obviously, it's the Witness, so the Witness has been twisting it to his will as well a bit, as well as Savathun has sent a small army inside as well. So we're getting a little bit of Hive that are able to mix it and twist it to their liking. Instantly, one of the first things, the biggest spoilers, is that we finally get Cade back. Cade 6 returns, Nathan Fillion coming back to reprise his role as Cade 6 after he died 6 years ago in Forsaken, and the community all like jumped for joy and like was so happy at this return, and especially with how much it looks like the Vanguard themselves is like fracturing and looking like Zavala is at his breaking point. It's very unfortunate that we lost Lance Reddick when we did, because and no discredit to the current voice actor, he did a good job. But we've had Zavala all this time. I think it would have been great to finally hear him do this part of Zavala that's is so broken and fragmented and torn and doesn't know what to do. A lot of this campaign storyline revolves around him and his questioning of the Traveler and how are we going to stop this overwhelming darkness figure that is the Witness. And a lot of it is like Cade, Ikora, Crow, and you, the Guardian, trying to get him to look at it our way, while the Witness is sitting there tempting literally everyone, even yourself, to come to their side the entire time. And you go through these campaign missions, and they're long missions. They're a lot of fun. The Prismatic subclass is so fucking fun. You get to mix and match things all from the other classes. It's limited. It's limited to certain things. Like you're not able to pull every grenade from every subclass or every melee. But with a lot of the things, it's like you can just create these crazy ass builds, and they like are really showboaty and a lot of fun to do the entire time. And you like there's so much customization in this that I mean, you're gonna run out of time just trying to go through finding all the builds that you like. So you're going through these campaign missions, and eventually, not only does Zavala begin to turn to the darkness as it's calling out to you, his ghost is ultimately killed as well, and he becomes human. He is no longer a Guardian anymore. This is his last life. However, in doing this, that's the last straw, essentially, for him, and he fully tries to embrace the darkness just to find out that the darkness are these aspects of the Witness from whenever he was created years ago that have sort of dissented from him and are ultimately his one weakness and what is giving us the ability to finally take the fight to the Witness and actually stick it to him for once. And the way that you do this is the last campaign mission, you essentially scratch the Witness. which is the first time the Witness has been seen as a god this entire time, the entire past year that he has been untouchable in the Traveler. And we finally get to him, and we finally get to see him bleed. And once that happens, we wait a couple weeks, and the raid releases. And I got to watch the world's first raid race go on. I didn't participate in it myself because, unfortunately, like, we have social lives and work, and not all my friends could take the time off that we wanted to fully get to the light level we needed to be at the raid, and then also try and run the raid and do the race. But watching the race was so much fun. I believe it ended up taking a total of like 19 or 20 hours or something like that. Something wild, that we're just watching people just beat their heads against this wall of this five encounter raid and try and beat it. You have you're toggling through streams of popular Destiny content creators. You see some people are still at the first one. A lot of people are stuck at the second one. Some people get to the third one and breeze right through it. The fourth one, people are starting to go radio silent because they're so close to it that they don't want anyone to see what they're hear what they're talking about, and so they shut off their webcams. They mute their party chat, and you're just looking at their screen of them attempting this raid over and over again to try and figure out how to solve it to be world's first. And it all culminating in finally the Witness is defeated after the end of that raid, and they release a 12-person, the biggest player counts activity they've ever released in Destiny, is this 12-person mode called Excision that you go through with these 12 people, and they've sent the entire army at the last of the army at you, as well as you have the army behind your back. You have Vanguard, you have Savathun and her hive helping you. You have Nimbus from the Cloud Striders on Neomuna. You have all these people that you've gone through these 10 years to get to this point, and you are fighting against the Witness, and you finally do the killing blow. And the crazy thing is, in order to defeat the Witness, you have to sacrifice your own ghost, and you end up becoming not a Guardian anymore due to that sacrifice. And then, because he was made from the light of the Traveler and brought back, the one to put down his life so that you can remain a Guardian, so you can remain this beacon of hope for the rest of humanity, the Elixni, all of the Guardians themselves. Cade 6 himself re-sacrifices himself to bring your ghost back, and it's one of the most genuine, beautiful moments I've ever seen in that game. God damn it. Obviously you hear me getting emotional about it. It's still such a good moment, and they fucking nailed it. They knocked it out of the park, and you finally defeat it. And then at the Witness's defeat, the couple things that you get for what's going to come next is these fragments of the Traveler shoot out to all sorts of places. Some of them going out of the solar system. So we're starting pretty local and going back to Nessus for the next section of the game and what comes next. But it looks like we will be able to go afar and actually leave the solar system for once for the future of Destiny and what its next act will be. However, and this probably is the most disappointing thing about it, we don't actually know if that's going to happen anymore due to the fact that Bungie has laid off so many of its workers, and certain projects have been either shut down or moved to different studios within Sony, and a lot of Destiny past this year is up in the air right now, and we don't know if we're actually going to be able to continue after this. After this, their single best expansion they've dropped to date.
Man, that fucking blows.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the thing that hurts the most.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm obviously rooting for them, and I wish the best. I don't want to see something kind of go down in flames when there's so much planning and stuff that's prepped for this next bit. But in more of a positive light, as someone who's been there since practically the beginning of a 10-year like culmination. How do you feel like it did? Do you feel like it stuck the landing?
The landing, yes, it stuck. It's been very shaky on the flight. There's been some turbulence for the past few years. There have been years that I've gone full-on years without playing the game. But there have been shining moments as well. Like, we get raids like the King's Fall raid back in Destiny 1. We get the Riven raid in Destiny 2. Forsaken was a big shining point. As much as people rip on and hate Lightfall, I see Lightfall as a really cool like addition to the game, and like the aesthetic and the lore that it adds, like that you just have to dig for. Like, a lot of Destiny is very similar to Dark Souls, and I think that's probably why I like the game so much. The lore isn't just given to you. You have to dig for that, or you have to find a YouTube channel that you can dedicate yourself to that will dig for that for you so you can listen to. And unfortunately, just some people are just here for a looter shooter MMO that, like, they just want to fucking do Warcraft shit. And so it's sad that, like, whenever things don't go 100% the way they want, people complain like they do. And because of how people complain, that lessens sales, and it makes things not land like they should in the eyes of these stupid execs at Bungie or whoever the fuck's responsible for it. And they end up scrapping 220-something jobs. Fucking insane.
Oh, man, yeah. I don't want to speak too much to it. I mean, the games industry has the potential of being very, very rough in a lot of places. And if you're not making, profit margins, it's for AAA games, that's kind of a death knell. That's why I look for a lot of games in like the indie scene, because that's where I personally feel like a lot of the people who are more dedicated to the artistry and craft and like just are making shit to have fun and not have to deal with all the corporate overhead and all that good stuff. That's where they end up at. And it does genuinely suck to see something AAA like this, and something that means a lot to a lot of people kind of crash in this way for seemingly not a good reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I think maybe Liam might be the only friend on Xbox that I've had through that I've had through Xbox, not just in person. Might be the only one I've had that I did not meet through Destiny. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we can look at all the positives that have come out of it, right? And keep our fingers crossed for the future of it. And, even if the game and the story can't continue there, perhaps some of the minds behind it will go on to do some incredible things.
Yeah. All right. Now that my sad story's over, let's go to let's see. I'm looking at your list. Something fun. Duck Detective.
Duck Detective.
Duck Detective. It's short game. It's great. It's indie. The main character goes hard on the voice acting role. It's the same guy who voices the Great Deku Tree in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. He just goes ham. You wake up in your office. You kind of learn the basis of the gameplay, which is search around, discover clues. You realize that this man has, he's just waking up from his bread hangover. He's trying to put his life back together. His wife left him, said he wasn't making enough money. And so now he's got to go out into the world and really establish himself again. And sure enough, someone reaches out to him, and he's on the case. He heads into the corporate world, kicks down the door of this this bus agency, and it's like, hey, yo, I'm the Duck Detective. I'm here to solve shit. And they're like, Oh, yeah, that guy. Good. My lunch got stolen. Can you figure out who did it so we can fire the guy? And it's great. It goes hard. It's about it's honestly probably about 2 to 3 hours long, if that. But it's fully voice acted. The art is really, really cute. It's got this fun like paper cutout style. The dialogue is all just genuinely hilarious. And you've even got a voice cameo from BDG, Brian David Gilbert, who voices a very silly crocodile or alligator guy. And yeah, it's jam. I would recommend it. It's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Genuinely, it's rad. I really, really dug this game. I had no expectations going into it aside from a kind of goofy trailer. My only disappointment was that it was as short as it was. I could play. Basically it's 3 acts, but it's one case with one little side thing that you can find, and really that's all there is to it. I'm excited to see. Hopefully, if there's more installments of this that comes out, that would be phenomenal. I've really enjoyed the Duck Detective. Yeah.
I have one question because you kind of lost me.
Yeah.
Bread hangover?
Yeah. It's his vice. You know,
what's the question there? I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
It's right there. It's in the name.
Fair enough.
Watch the opening 5 minutes of the game, and it will answer all your questions.
What's the speed run for the game look like?
Good question. Let me check speedrun.com real fast.
We found his category, Brady.
We did.
Duck Detective. It's got 6 active players. It looks like there are 8 runs on the board. The fastest time is 17 minutes and 52 seconds. There is trash can percent, but there are no runs for trash can percent. You know what? I'm going to post a run to trash can percent soon. Keep an eye out on the leaderboards. You will see my name there. Number 1, baby. No bread hangovers here. I'm ready to fucking ride. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, Brady, take us from that roller coaster.
If we want to talk about games with speedruns, I'm not the right person to talk to because the game I played is not a game I will ever speedrun. I played a little bit of Scarlet Nexus, which is a indie anime style, like 3D anime style game that came out a couple years ago, relatively new. Basically, it's set in a futuristic-ish world, generic future anime world. Still modern-day Earth, but way more advanced technology. And people can have like technology implants to get psychic powers. And depending on what like genetics and what you're predisposed to, your psychics manifest in different ways. And you get the choice to play as one of 2 protagonists, which have 2 separate stories. So it's basically 2 games, 2 perspectives of the same story you can play. And depending on what you do, you go through and learn more about the origins of your city and civilization and where your powers come from and maybe why you're living in a dystopian society instead of a utopian society. Basically, you go from being a cop to realizing that, hey, your government is evil and you should do something about that. Not sure exactly where all the threads go because I did not finish it because Total Warfare Dynasties came out and I stopped playing it. But fun game. The combat is the graphics aren't great. It's 3D anime, but the combat is surprisingly fluid and fun, and you get a nice mix of using different powers depending on who you have on your team. It's like an action hack and slashy type of. I recommend it. I think it won quite a few awards.
I was gonna say I've definitely heard of Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah.
One second, I need to pull up
the story is very good. The story is very good. The combat is really fun. The character relationships and characters are also really good. So it's a very, very good game.
Interesting.
Don't let my words about the graphics dissuade you from playing.
In between this podcast and the last one, I took a short hike, and by that I mean I played the game a short hike.
Yay! Oh, I adore this game. I love this game so much. Tell me what you thought.
It was really good. It was nice and short. Something like I almost beat the game in one sitting. No, I did. That's right. I beat the game in one sitting. Within 2 hours because I just explored the entire place looking for enough feathers to get up the mountain, and I found a technique that worked for me to just climb the mountain. I climbed to the top of the mountain, and then I used the second night to achievement grind all but one of the achievements, which I will not get. The reason I had to play this game so fast is because this game got off of Game Pass on January 31st, and I did not see that whenever I started it on January 29th. So I saw it popped up the next time I got on my Xbox. I'm like, shit. So I quickly ran through the game. It's really fun. You play as this bird that's it can't fly mechanically without the feathers that they get, but essentially they're on a vacation from their normal home. You're not unsure why until the end of the game, but they're just on vacation, and you decide to take a hike to the top of the mountain because your phone doesn't get signal, and that's the only spot that might get signal up there. And so you end up going around talking to NPCs that have you do various quests, and in order to climb, you need these golden feathers. A lot of these quests give you golden feathers, as well as there's a currency system, so that you can buy golden feathers from a bully that's almost to the top for some of the feathers that you need. And you go around doing these very unique quests that have you exploring this island. And eventually you are able to use the feathers to flap once or climb for a certain duration before it goes away. And you so you can do a mix of that where you start climbing halfway, then jump up, flap, climb halfway, jump up, flap, and you can use half the amount of feathers. So I use that to not necessarily brute force my way through the game, but I was able to take shortcuts and didn't have to get as many feathers as the game thought I did. And so I went around getting all these feathers. There's 20 in total. And eventually I got I think I had something 14 after my first session. And that was without looking anything up, just going around. And I'm I can probably, it's about time for me to go to bed. I'll just go ahead and go beat the game real quick. And I went up and started climbing the mountain. And once you get past a certain points, ice starts becoming a factor. And anytime ice is involved, anytime you use a feather, it is unusable until you warm up again. So those feathers that would normally regenerate every time you land or every time you stop using them are no longer doing that. And so you have to actually do this balancing act between warming up places and then use a few of your feathers to get across a gap or a small climb, and then actually having to ration them out. Eventually, it's not a hard game at all. It's really there for you to just have a nice relaxer. It's got a nice soundtrack to it, and so you can just sit there and relax most of the time. And so eventually you find your way getting to the top of the mountain, and you realize that your phone call here was so that you can talk to your mom that's apparently supposed to be having this big surgery later. And it's kind of hit me a little there, because the bird has been dealing with this amount of stress for the entirety of the game there, not knowing whether or not the mom was going to make it through the surgery kind of thing. And it kind of took me back to when my mom had cancer, and I had felt like a very similar thing. Well, I was always waiting on her calls to make sure she was all right, and so it really hit me there at the top there. And then after that, what's the hot spring that's right there begins to have an updraft that you're able to fly up, and then you can fly and descend down the mountain any way you want. So I did several loops and really enjoyed it. And once I got to the end of it and the credits rolled, I just set it down and just looked at the clock, and it was it wasn't late or anything, but I'd killed 3 hours and really enjoyed it and had a good time with the game. So I think it'd be a really good game. Is you can put it if you don't like the music in it, you can put whatever music you want to listen to, and like I said, knock out a nice short 3 hours pretty easily.
I experienced this game like in what I feel was the best way possible for at least myself, which was I picked it up for Switch a little while ago, and one day I just decided, it's Saturday morning, it's a lazy morning, I'm just going to kind of hang out in bed and play through this. And it really felt kind of like a comforting Saturday morning cartoon. It's just overall really sweet. There's a lot of characters to the game that have a ton of personality. Any game that's got a good like flying/gliding mechanic, I absolutely adore. And this one really nails it. So you can, like Trent was saying, you can use the feathers to flap a little bit to gain a little bit of height, or you can find different updrafts around the island, all culminating in one final updraft at the very end. And you can use that to like lift yourself way up in the air and then just soar and glide. And if you release you have to release the joystick, and Claire, your main character, she'll go into like a little dive, which you can use to pick up some more speed, and then you can level out and go for like extend the glide much further and faster. Absolutely a blast. There's a lot of really fun stuff to do in it. There's tons of extra feathers that you can find to, just enjoy it, extend your time there. There's a bunch of like hats and other little like accoutrements that you can like get and equip on your character. It's just a cozy way to kill a couple hours. It's a lovely short hike. I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad you liked it, Trent. It's one that I played maybe last year, but yeah, like I said, I absolutely adore it. And so another one that I will happily recommend to anyone who's interested.
Speaking of another one, why don't you tell us about Another Crab's Treasure?
Hey, would you look at that? Another Souls-like. Hey, this game is pretty fun. If you are either new to the Soulsborne genre, I think this is a really good way to jump on and kind of get a feel for it. It's very, very welcoming. You follow your little crab named Krill. The whole game is very lovingly voice acted. It moves through at a pretty quick pace as Krill wakes up on his little beach, just hanging out, defending his little shell from like seagull attacks. And then a loan shark comes in, says that he hasn't paid his taxes, and repossesses his shell. And the rest of the story is you going on a quest to try to get your shell back. You dive into the ocean, face first, and you look around, and it looks like a lot of the crabs and stuff that have been living here, they're not doing so great. They've been like overly contaminated with the microplastics and are starting to lose their minds. And you progress through the game, you find a little fork that you can use to defend yourself from their attacks, move through, and eventually come upon a kingdom where, everything in the underwater area has really changed from the last time Krill was here. Everything revolves around microplastics now. It's the new hot thing, the new currency. You gotta get your trash and put it on your back, and that's how you have fashion, that's how you have defense. It's great. From a gameplay perspective, it takes a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls, unsurprisingly. It kind of wears that on its sleeve. But unlike Dark Souls, there's no stamina meter, so you don't have to worry about running out of energy during your attacks or sprinting around. It actually encourages you to run around and rely on your shells a lot more, which you kind of use as defense. There's a lot of really, really, really fun stuff in this game. There's a lot of puns, a lot of comedy, and yeah, I think it's genuinely a good point for people who are interested in the Soulsborne genre, want to check it out without so much of the absolute kind of brutality or stigma is not the right word, but the vibe that comes with the Dark Souls series. If you're interested in it, you want to try it out without it being so daunting, this is a great place to start.
You mentioned that it doesn't have the same brutality as Dark Souls. I beg to differ, sir. I believe I saw you using a gun at one point.
Oh, yeah, of course. if you're getting to a point where you're like stressed out or stuck, you know, I say it's not brutal. There is a lot of brutality to it. There's a lot of crabs who get crucified for committing crimes such as looking at the queen rung. There is a crab who has a really massive one who's got like a makeshift guillotine, so where he's got this grab attack where if he catches you, he'll put you into it and literally drop the guillotine on your head and you die instantly. But yeah, if you get fed up with all of that, there's a lot of accessibility options. You can make the game a little bit easier, or you can just give Krill a gun, and that will one-shot every enemy in the game. And it's a blast. It is a blast. Yeah, I dig this game a lot. I'm actually a little sad that y'all haven't played it yet. I really enjoyed it.
It is on my list now that I am not necessarily Destiny'd out, but I am at the end game where I don't have to do anything every week anymore, or most things every week anymore. I'm gonna be spreading out into other games again. So, as well,
this one,
so I mean, yeah. Right, Brady?
Right.
Damn.
But Brady, you can just put a gun on. You just play it for the puns. There's so many fish puns.
Is there an easy mode?
I think so, actually.
Then I'll consider it.
Aside from just giving him a gun and one-shotting shit, I think there is. Let's see.
Oh, wait, no. Hold on. The gun just one-shot shit?
Yeah, it just one-shot shit.
Oh.
You put that on your back. It's literally, you go into the settings. There's a setting that says, give Krill a gun. You check that box. You got a gun on your back. You win the game. So yeah, you just play through it, enjoy the story.
Well,
it's got a very fun, like, treasure hunt aspect to it. It's good. I like it. I dig it a lot.
Here, Brady, we'll race our playthrough of the game. You get to use the gun, and I'll go normal.
You'll still win. You know that, right?
Probably.
All right, Brady, what you got?
All right. So, last year, there was a game released by Creative Assembly, specifically the Sophia Studio, called Total War Pharaoh. It was a full... So, the Total War franchise has different types of games. They release full games for full price, and then they have saga games, which are like more contained, less spread out, smaller maps. Like, for example, they had Total War Rome 2 was the entirety of the Mediterranean, Northern Africa, the Near East of like Middle East areas, up to Britain, a large section of the world. And it had 20 factions. Very built-out game versus Total War Britannia, which is a saga game, which is a shorter, less expensive game that just covered England and the United Kingdom Isles when the Vikings were doing their shit. Just a little background. Total War Pharaoh came out as a full Total War game set in the Bronze Age, specifically Bronze Age collapse. So you have Egypt. When it first came out, it just had Egypt, the Hittites up in Anatolia, Turkey area, and Canaan, which is like Israel, modern Israel. The game was not well received because it did not have an expansive scope. It felt like a saga game, but we were being charged for a full price game. Some of the mechanics weren't bad. There was just not a lot going for it, and it was really small. And people really felt like it was way too expensive for what we were getting. So it was not received well. Never had a lot of players. Over the past year and a half, the CA Sophia team has been working on Total War Pharaoh Dynasties, which is a free update to the game, which essentially doubles the size of the game. It instead of just Egypt, Canaan, and Anatolia, they have added Mesopotamia, so all of it's like mostly Iran, Iraq area off to the east, and it added the Aegean Sea, which is like Greece, the southern part of Greece, off to the west. Again, all of this is a free update for people that own the game. So they had those two new large map areas. In addition, they added a lot of new factions you can play as. So whereas before you were just Egypt or the Hittites or Canaan, now you can also play as Assyria, Babylon, Mycenae, which is Greece, Troy, and they also added the functionality to play as a lot of new minor factions and smaller cultures. I just say this really feels to me like they No Man's Skied the situation, like really disastrous release, but they worked on it and made it better. I've been playing it a lot. So I started as I played as Babylon, became the king of the universe, and just had a blast with the new mechanics and the new factions. And this really feels to me like one of the best current historical Total War games. Specifically because of, in addition to adding to the map, they really updated the engine and the mechanics. So like, one criticism of Total War games is that when you're expanding your Total War is like a civilization building game where you build up your country, you launch armies, you attack, take over territory, you build that territory up, use it to fund more armies to go take more territory. That's the gameplay loop. A complaint that past Total War games have had is that there's not a lot of options for diplomacy. Like, you can make basic non-aggression pacts, military alliances, and trading agreements, and that's kind of it. Like, there's no nuance, no detailed system for it. Pharaoh really made some strides in that direction. So you get options to trade things like individual materials, so you're not just trading gold. This was already in the game, but they really expounded upon it. Like, you can trade food, gold, bronze, wood, stone, which are the different materials you need to build different things and fund different units. They added new family trees, so your faction leader, the king of your country, can have children, and their children can have children. And as part of diplomacy, you can like marry off your kids to other factions to improve your standing with them, or have them marry into your faction to gain new characters and increase relations. You can have one of your kids marry into a faction and then take over that faction when the guy in charge dies because he married into it, and now you have control over this faction because your kid married into it. You can trade like court influence and like regional influence for favors and stuff. They have a whole court mechanic where every region, like Egypt, Mesopotamia, Hittites, and the Aegean, have like different overarching political systems where you have a series of the largest factions in each of those areas have specific diplomatic options they have for each other, called court maneuvers, where you can gossip and blackmail and steal legitimacy, take away someone's titles. Really, really expounded on the diplomatic options in this Total War. That being said, they also made a lot of new war options as well. They added a new mechanic called lethality, which I enjoy a lot. I know some people don't enjoy it as much, where every time a unit does something to another unit, they have a chance to just insta-kill that unit, or like an individual person in that unit. So you have like a group of 90 spearmen against another 90 spearmen. Normally they stab back and forth, and each character has like a small HP pool, and once that goes down, that little individual unit person dies. With this new mechanic, there's a chance for like crits, essentially. So it makes archers and ranged units a lot more formidable. And certain units with high lethality, like double-handed axes or very expensive swords units, just hit a lot harder and are a lot scarier. As far as combat goes, they also added some new formations. So like you can have shield walls, and your people can instead of just like fighting, you can have them push and move the formation a little bit to like reposition your units and get flanking and other bonuses. They added cavalry, which was not in the game previously. So now you can have people on horses, which isn't 100% historically accurate for this time period.
Who cares? Horses are cool. Horseback combat is awesome.
You tell me you don't want to see a group of Assyrian horses charging into the back of a spear wall, and I'll tell you you're a liar. So they added cavalry. They added some like transport chariots. So like it's basically dragoons. Chariots are faster than walking, so you ride your chariots. People get off the chariots and they go fight. It's like a transport unit. And a bunch of all the new regions got new local recruitment options. So when you recruit from a series of like a pool of types of units for that specific area. So like trying to recruit in Egypt will get you different units than trying to recruit in Greece. So they added, for the new regions, they added whole new series of types of units.
That's a really intensive update.
It's essentially a brand new game.
And all this is a free update for the game?
Free update if you own the game, yes.
Jeez, okay. That's
they
awesome.
really tried to do right by the community, I think, based on their...
this game sounds very, like, a lot for onboarding. What is the onboarding process for this game kind of like?
Yeah, so I'm going into a lot of depth because I am very passionate about this series, and I've been playing the series for a long time, so I know a lot about how the stuff works. I wouldn't say Total War is incredibly friendly to new players. It is, at the end of the day, a very crunchy, detail-heavy management game. Like it's not easy to get onboarded into, say, Stellaris, or games of that ilk. I will say Total War is a little easier. They do have like a tutorial process, so when you start the game, you can change the difficulty to make it easier on your first tries. They have factions they recommend that have easier starts than others. And as you go through, like the first couple of turns are not scripted, but they do have some like really easy options that they lead you through that kind of allow you the chance to become a little more familiar with some of the basic mechanics, like attacking, defending, taking territory, making trade, negotiating with foreign powers. And there's like little tutorial boxes that show up constantly throughout the game that kind of give you little walkthroughs of how to do the basic stuff. But really, that once you have that basic understanding, you can play the game. But at that point, there's a little bit of a learning curve of getting good at the game. Or you can do what I do and just do custom battles and not worry about the campaign map and just make the lines charge at each other.
I know you're someone who like plays or at least enjoys a lot of RTS and like strategy style games. How do you feel like this compares to some of the other like big names in the field?
Like Civilization specifically, because that's the question actually I was going to ask Walker.
Yeah, so I would say Civilization is in the same genre as Total War, but it's Total War, as the name, has a bit more of a focus on the combat stuff. So like a good 50-60% of this game is army battle management, whereas Civ is mostly focused on like the economic development and diplomacy, and is a lot more detailed, and you have a lot more control over your specific city building and economy than you do in, say, Total War. But the battles are a lot more complex and detailed in Total War than they are in Civ. Like Civ, you get 1 unit per hex, right? So you don't really get bad. It's like pushing an army represented by a wooden figurine across a battle map situation. Whereas in Total War, you can see each individual soldier that is dying, or fighting, or climbing the walls, or riding in a siege tower to bypass the walls, or and the battle maps are incredibly detailed. Like you can siege a full city, and you can set up multiple lines of defense as through the buildings, as you're like have forced them to take the walls and then retreat through the city to like the higher second layers of walls, third layers of walls. You can set the city on fire as you're attacking to debuff the defenders because they don't like seeing their city burning.
Wow,
I would say this is the premier battle simulator game. Like I would say real-time battle simulators of like specifically land armies, right? Like because it's not like squadron fights; it's like land historical medieval style armies. Like back when armies would line up and fight each other instead of other methods of war. I'd say this is top of its class. I think this is my favorite historical Total War, except maybe Three Kingdoms.
Wow. Okay.
Total War Pharaoh Dynasty.
High praises.
I am also a big fan of the Bronze Age in general, and that might be coloring it a bit, but I do genuinely think this is probably the best historical Total War game that's come out. Whereas before I would not have said that before the Dynasties update.
How does this compare to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator?
Well, obviously it's not as accurate as the Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, right?
I only mentioned that. I've literally had no context of what that was until I watched a video literally yesterday about it, and I was just like, oh, this sounds like that Total War game that Brady talks about all the time.
Crazy.
It's basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing, essentially. It's actually not that far off from Total War Warhammer, but in its wackiness. But I don't know of a game that is better for for like commanding armies. I don't know of a game that does it better than Total War.
Well, damn, good shit. I mean, any other like additional thoughts for the game? Like, that's a lot of high praise.
New gods. They have a lot of new gods that they brought out. So now you can worship Zeus, Apollo, Poseidon, Ares, Aphrodite, and a bunch of Babylonian gods that I don't remember the name of. Marduk is the Babylonian god. That's the only one I remember because I played them.
Do gods have infos on like the actual warfare and stuff?
So not so much on the warfare. I mean, you do get kind of bonuses. So when you worship the gods, you can, number one, you get unique buildings. So you can build temples to the gods that give bonuses. Different bonuses based on which god. So, for example, Marduk, the Babylonian god, gives a bonus to your food production, which is good for the Mesopotamian region because they have a lot of food buildings. And so you can, like, cheaper units are usually cost food to upkeep for your armies. So
right, makes
you
sense.
build a lot of food, build a lot of temples to Marduk, boost your food production, have a lot of, like, cheap armies that you can throw at people. Versus, like, Zeus buffs your missile damage, which is really good for the Aegeans because they don't have as many cheap troops, but they do have good, like, javelins. So you can, like, and javelins do insane damage with the lethality mechanic. They're crazy. Short range, but they will annihilate a unit in a single throw. So you get that bonus with Zeus and you're really cooking. So the temples give general buffs to your lands, and you can dedicate your generals, like the people in control of your armies, specific armies, to a god and get some specific bonuses.
Ooh, okay.
Like I mentioned, the Zeus one buffs missile damage. Some reduce upkeep, some give you specific options, like when you're like Poseidon, I think, I want to say gives you bonuses when you're fighting coastal battles, like on the edge of water and land.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing, and this is absolute pipe dream, this is pie in the sky, I own the studio and can make them do whatever I want. They don't have any naval battles. If like you're sending your army across the water and they come across another army, they stop and go to an island and fight on the island, and you fight with your normal battles.
Well, that's very decent of them.
Yeah, some other older Total War games had some naval battle stuff in it, which I do kind of miss. But I also get that with these systems are incredibly complex. The games are already very, very, very full of mechanics. Trying to add a whole new type of battle would be, in a modern system game, would be kind of nuts. So I understand why they don't have it.
But you want it.
But I would like it.
All right.
So yeah, I've been having fun with that game.
Well, we have one more thing to talk about. Something that you finished, Walker, and something that I've barely just scratched the surface for it. But there is one thing I want to say before we even go into it, and it's quite possibly my favorite tweet that I've ever seen in my life, definitely of this year. And it goes, and I quote, 2024 is a wild year. Drake, not beating the allegations. Dr. Disrespect, not beating the allegations. Moog, Lord of Blood.
Moog, Lord of Blood.
Weirdly enough,
beats the allegations. Let's go, Moog. I did not go into the DLC a defender of Moog, but hey, I came out of it sure enough.
Holy crap. Yeah, we're talking about Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, guys. As if I did not think this game was already perfect enough, it adds this DLC that I've barely even scratched the surface of, but have, like, seen so much stuff about that I want to give this game Game of the Year again. Like, this is crazy.
It's good, dude. I went into the DLC with my original character from my first playthrough of the game. Her build definitely changed drastically. Originally it was a caster, but I fell in love with one of the new weapon types found early on and quickly stuck to that. I went into the DLC at 127 hours on this character. Came out of the DLC at 170 something.
Yeah,
it's for $40. That 50 hours of gameplay is nothing to scoff
and that's
at.
That's 50 hours after you already know what you're doing in the game, because you have to get to a certain point in the game to do this. So, like, I would say, like, if you were like doing this brand new, that's probably like 100 hours of content right there, easy. Like,
potentially, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want a quick review from me, it's hey, it's more Elden Ring, and it will slap you in the face again. And I had a good time, and will thank it for it. And yeah, that's my short review. I've got a longer one though.
So like I said, I haven't gotten very far into the DLC. I've started another Elden Ring playthrough with another friend that who dropped the Elden Ring like a couple of weeks after it came out, just because he couldn't get past like a certain boss. He eventually picked it back up, beat that boss, and like started cruising through the game. But I didn't have any characters that were anywhere around his level, so I had to start. Pretty much had to start a new one and try and catch up to him. And like now that we've caught up, we're going through the game, and we're gonna go and finish the DLC together with a third friend that's currently waiting for me in the DLC with how far we've gotten into it already. So, and I don't care what the community says. We're gonna go through and we're gonna play the game and have fun beating it like that. So fuck you guys.
There's one thing I've learned. It's kind of fuck the community. Play the game how you want to. I mentioned this during our actual review of the game. And dear fucking God, you will need every single thing the game gives you as help to beat it, because this boss does not fuck around. Like the final boss of the DLC does not fuck around.
Yeah, you thought you had a hard time with Millennia. Oh my God, I haven't even fought him yet, and like I'm shaking. I'm worried. I'm even more worried to do it on like whenever I get summoned by my two allies, because I know for a fact they ain't surviving that fight long enough for me to kill them for at least a good 20, 30 tries.
Oh yeah, it's look, even for those who aren't a big fan of the throw your head at something until it works. Everything except for the final boss in this DLC, they build up a new level up system that is purely routed in your ability to explore the lands of Shadow. There's some upgrade items that you can find in the world that will actually boost your attack and defense, they are necessary for your continuation through the game. And even if you just start into the DLC, start exploring, a good chunk of those items, there are ways to get to them without fighting any of the bosses. So you can find a way through to the upgrade items and start leveling yourself up and kind of exploring the world, refamiliarizing yourself with it, and dive in that way. Or you can get assaulted by a naked man in the woods in your first 6 minutes of playing, and you get stuck there for an hour.
Oh, that guy.
And that was my experience.
I remember that guy. He had beast claws.
He sure did.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into like a little bit of like what this DLC covers. So I guess this is where we'll hit you with the spoiler warning for Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, because I really want to talk about Mikola. Mikola. Oh my God, probably I think he is the last of the Empyreans, last of the demigods that you have to deal with. And you thought he was this docile little child, this nice guy all along. Turns out he is a little fucked up.
He's a manipulative son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Kill you with kindness, he sure will.
Yeah, Walker, take it away.
Yeah, can I actually... I'm going to share something. I kind of started doing a gaming journal as I was going through and playing this. There is a moment in the DLC that happens, and Trey, you said you've experienced most of what happens already, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna spoil you. There is a section of the game where you hear a loud cracking sound, and then
I don't
gold.
know this.
Okay, well, you know what? Then I will.
No, go. I'm taking the headphones off.
Okay.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay.
And go.
So you hear a loud, like, cracking sound, and then you suddenly see, like, flecks of gold drifting down around you, and you get a pop-up on screen telling you that somewhere a great rune has shattered, and with it a powerful charm. This happens about halfway through the game, through the DLC, and it is kind of the point that changes everything. All your interactions with all the NPCs that you've come up with to this point, like everything shifts from this point onward. And when it happened, I shit myself. Yeah, when that happened, I absolutely shit myself. It came out of nowhere. I was super invested in like a side area that I was exploring. Trent, you are safe, by the way. I'm just the main thing that happened. I'm already past.
Yeah, you're good.
I was exploring a side area. I was actually getting really into it because I've been reading through Berserk fairly recently, which is a manga that's heavily inspired a lot of the Dark Souls games, to my understanding. And like the whole area I was going through felt very, very similar to a lot of the setup in Berserk. So I was really, really like kind of loving that and seeing like, oh, cool, like here's this, and that, which kind of references this part of Guts' journey. Oh man, like we go from this crazy scene to an area where I'm being swarmed by wolves. That event happened, and I turned around, I left, even, despite being as fully invested as I was, I turned around and booked it and went to go check on everything that had changed. Because the whole world turned upside down in that moment, and I was genuinely shocked. 150 hours into the game at that point, and I had not had anything like that from one little thing. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Wild.
Something that I haven't experienced myself in this game, but there's a section or something that I've never seen anything like this in a Soulsborne game. That it literally tells you, don't fight, sneak, run, hide, or like something to that extent. Walker, I think you went through this place.
Dude, there is a point. You have a steed with you for the entirety of the game, right? Torrent, he's your good buddy. He hangs out. He takes you places. He's always there for you. The only place you can't ride him is like indoors, Pokemon logic. You get through this like crazy dungeon, which you expect, you think you know what you're going to find at the end of it, and it turns out, no, this is actually an entrance to an entirely new area. And you're like, oh, wow, okay. You begin to delve further into that. You jump on Torrent, you ride about 35 feet. Torrent kicks you off of him, screams in fear, and disappears. If you try to resummon him, it says the spectral steed is too terrified to come to your aid. And it's like, oh, God. Yeah, there's an entire, like, survival horror section of this, and it was really, really effectively creepy. And it made me very excited to play Bloodborne, which I hear has that inspired a good chunk of that section. Yeah, I'm hyped, dude. It was good shit.
As far as like some of the bosses I've seen in this game, they really bring it to you, this DLC. I would say, other than and we've already said our spoiler warning, so other than Consort Radon, I don't think any get to Millennia's level, but people have been having a hard time with like a lot of the bosses in this DLC, whether it be the Dancing Lion, which is literally two people in a fucking dancing lion costume that are fucking beating your ass and becoming the Avatar, to it's Rolana, right? Rolana?
Yes.
Rolana,
twin
who
sister.
is anime fucking fire sword one hand, ice sword in the other, fucking kicking your ass and dropping moons on the ground to knock you up and into the air. To not even a boss, but like these fucking, I call them the Wicker Men. They're these giant ass golems that will pick you up and throw you in the top of their skull, spin you around into a fire vortex, and then spit you out on the ground like they ain't shit. Because it ain't shit for them. They have 150,000 health or some bullshit. Like, I went and hit that thing once, did not see a dent in the health bar, and screamed for my mommy. Then we got, like, he was in the trailer, Mesmer. That Mesmer boss fight is sick as fuck. Oh my god.
Dude, it's rad.
Turning into a snake in the for the fucking second half of the game. Ironically, not the first time we've seen that in Elden Ring.
No.
If I had a dime for every time that happened, I'd have 2 dimes, which isn't much, but it's weird it happened twice. We got, like, there's a fucking, for some reason, hippos are attacking you in this DLC. There's this giant guy riding a board that can fucking gravity fucking drill you from the sky.
Fuck that guy. That guy's awful. That was, I had 3 problem bosses. It was Rolana, it was the final boss, and then it was that fucking dude. Fuck that guy so much. He's got a charge attack that will one-shot you, and it has an insane damage window. It's upsetting. It's very upsetting.
And then we also got, like, of course, it's fucking Elden Ring, it's Dark Souls. No matter what DLC it is, you're gonna have a fucking spectacle dragon fight in at least one of the DLCs. And we get Bale, the Dread.
Vile Bale.
And one of the greatest NPCs ever, that you just summon him and he just screams, "Curse you, Bale!" If
Brady, I'm gonna send you a clip. I need you to listen to it. This guy goes so fucking hard on this voice.
Yeah, the voice.
He has taught me that I do not hate enough. This guy hates this fucking dragon.
Like, I could have died to this dragon like 50 times in a row, and I would not be at the level that this guy hates this dragon. It is hilarious. It's got the same energy that if anyone out there listening has played Sekiro, Dyobu Masataki Oniwa screaming his name, it's the fucking same exact energy level and commitment that is brought to this voice line. Holy shit, it's amazing. And then the last boss I want to talk about, just briefly, is there's this fucking madness boss that, like, literally has the sun of the, like, the fucking, the madness sun for a head, it looks like. And I swear to God, it's what I imagine the Dawnfather from Critical Role's Exandria lore would be, which is really ironic because we just got Downfall, where we got a little dose of that as well at the time of this recording. So, like, it just fits well, and is like just a nice chef's kiss right there.
Oh yeah, the DLC kicks ass. Like I said before, it is more Elden Ring, and Elden Ring is delectable.
It's huge.
But yeah, it is massive. When they were doing press tours for the game, they said it was the size of the starting area of the game, Limgrave. Maybe 3 Limgraves stacked on top of each other, perhaps. It is huge. It is incredibly vertical. There's so many layers to it that even when you get the map, you don't really know what leads where. I just had a ton of fun exploring and running around and just checking out the world. You've got these insanely beautiful flowering fields to the south.
Oh, the Cerulean Coast is gorgeous.
Blue flowered sea, and then there's a crimson one as well of like just red spider lilies everywhere with this huge like theme of death around it, and it's just so fucking cool.
Then there's this giant ass crater that looks like literally a god put their thumbprint on the map and just pushed down, and you go there and there's literally just all these hands and fingers just sticking out of the ground, and you're like, I don't know what this place is, but it's terrifying. It's unsettling as fuck. I hate it here. And there's, like, other than a few enemies there's literally nothing there. Like, I think there's a quest line that sends you there. Other than that, there's literally no reason to go there, no reason for this to exist there. And you're just like, why is this here? I hate it.
Oh, man. I dig it. I dig it. This was good shit.
Oh, yeah.
I put a lot of hours into it, and it kind of satiated that craving for more that I've had. I'm very happy with a lot of the lore revelations that came out of it. Very unsettled by, we get to see what's in all the warrior jars that are littering the base game. We get to see what's inside those, and that is upsetting. We finally get a chance to get a lot more Mikola lore, which is fantastic. Fuck that guy.
And Mikola and America.
Mikola lore, America lore. We got like we said before, Moog beat the allegations. For those of you who don't know, that includes you, Brady. Moog is this kind of like fucked up dude. He is one of the demigods, and in the base game, he was known for stealing away Mikola, who is known to be kind of an eternal child, with like the idea of, oh, I'm gonna marry him and I'm gonna become Lord. This is his half-brother child, and it did not look great, but he beat the allegations. Turns out Mikola made him do it in the first place.
Brainwashed him or some bullshit. It was crazy. And just any bonus on top of the lore is just the fact that it's a fucking Souls game, so you know damn well Vadi Vidya is gonna fucking cover it. So we get even more content out of him as well, which is just like a nice little cherry on top of this DLC. I would recommend, like, Brady, I know you probably will never go through and play the Elden Ring. I think you'd be a real big fan of the lore and everything about this game. I would suggest, like, especially if you find yourself like on a car trip or something and you need something to listen to, just throw on a Vadi Vidya videos and listen to the lore of Elden Ring, and you will absolutely love it. I recommend it for that, as well as there's this guy named My Name is Bythe that just recently released a 9-hour lore synopsis of the beginning of Destiny 1 to right before the final shape as well, that covers all the lore in that as well. And my god, like, I am spoiled with lore. It is so great. Both of those people I recommend having on your, or like being a subscriber to their channels, if you enjoy any aspect of any kind of these games, whether it be the setting, the game itself, or just like anything in general about it.
10 out of 10 with DLC again.
I think I'm also really happy with this DLC because I think it has cemented Walker as a Soulsborne player with me. Or a Souls-like player with me. I think I finally got him. We got him, boys.
It wasn't just this DLC, but yep, I'm here. I'm locked in.
Brady still there, still alive?
All right. Technically.
All right, well, we've been going a while. I think the last thing I want, like literally just real quick, what is one thing you're looking forward to that still hasn't come out this year, that you expect to come out this year, that you're looking forward to? Brady, I'll start with you since we...
Well, I already talked about Space Marine 2. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Anything else, just to mention?
Not that I can think of right now. Someone else go.
All right.
We've been recording a while.
Yeah.
My brain isn't working.
That's fair.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. A new Zelda game comes out in 2 months, and I'm already fucking drooling.
This is the Zelda one.
It's the Zelda game.
Oh my god, what are they calling it? Is it Legend of Link?
No. It is Echoes of the Kingdom, I believe. Oh no, Echoes of Wisdom. I am very excited. It's taking a note from the Tears of the Kingdom playstyle, as well as it's using the engine from Link's Awakening, the Link's Awakening remake.
Oh,
which
that's nice.
I adored that game. So I am genuinely so stoked about this thing. They released a new trailer yesterday. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm ready. I'm so ready. I want it now.
Excellent.
I'm looking forward to the new Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh shit!
yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be good shit.
It's been a while since I bought an Assassin's Creed Day One. I think I'm gonna buy that one Day One. As far as what I'm looking for, it's still not confirmed. It's still holding out hope there, but it's
not
always
Silk
there.
Song. It's not coming out.
It is Silk Song. It's gotta, right, man.
They haven't announced it.
Say that again.
Do you want me to lie to you and give you comfort, or do you want the brutal truth?
I want some dev communication. That's all I want. If you know that we're gonna be waiting a lot longer for it, at least just tell us. That's all we want.
I'm sorry, Trent. I don't want to crush your hopes and dreams, but if you think that Silk Song's coming out in 2024, you're out of your mind. They haven't said anything, right?
They said it was supposed to release at the back half of last year, and that was the last thing they said.
Oh, okay. So they did give a tentative release. Okay,
yeah.
Never mind. I didn't know that. I thought we were still radio silence.
They said in Q1 that it was supposed to release at the back half of last year, and we haven't heard anything from that announcement, even though that day has passed, and yeah, still nothing. So all I'm asking for, even it has to be my Christmas gift this year, just some dev communication. All right, I will be okay with it if you need more time. Just tell me, please. The fact that I'm not hearing anything is the only upsetting part for me.
Well, I do hope the best for you, but unfortunately I still haven't completed my playthrough, so you won't hear any news until I complete my playthrough.
Walker, I'm going to tie you to a chair. And the stipulation will be you will not get out until you beat Silk Song. Here's the controller.
Until I beat Silk Song?
Not Silk Song. Until you beat Hollow Knight. Here's the controller.
Oh god, if it's Silk Song, I'm never getting out of that chair.
Well, yeah, because you got to beat Hollow Knight first. Also, a quick announcement for the Joystick Frequency. We are finally on Spotify, and I want to give a round of applause and thanks to Kassa. She's been working her ass off getting that put on Spotify, editing this podcast, and getting everything done, and she's been doing a phenomenal job at it. We're behind, and it's a delayed release window until we get caught up on Spotify. However, this one will be going live as soon as we can on YouTube, and we're essentially just playing catch up every week on Spotify. So yeah, go check us out on Spotify, the Joystick Frequency. Well, guys, that's going to do us here at the Joystick Frequency for this podcast. We thank you for your patience during the off time that we decided to take without any announcement, without any plan, just kind of happened. We hope you'll join us next time where we'll discuss something. We're unsure yet. We're going to get the ball rolling again and see where it takes us on the next one. So thank y'all once again for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next Wavelength. I've been Trent. That's been Walker.
Hello.
That's been Brady. Say bye, guys.
Hello.
Bye.